Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. You were talking about the Iraqi parliament while they took a look at this, but we also have seen that the latest executive order that has been signed, Iraq has been removed from that particular list. Do you think it was really because of they saying, well, we need to look into this matter and see how we respond as well?
Yes. They had gone to the parliament. They have started discussing how to retaliate. They have started discussing how to do how to mete out similar treatment to the Americans. I mean, this is the way a nation is run. But you know, we have problem here. The problem we have is that our policy makers are they are so Americanized in a way that these are people who cannot do without traveling to US, maybe 1 week, 3 weeks, or whatever. Most of our lawmakers, and as such, they don't want to lose whatever visa or whatever residency, anything they are enjoying. So they don't want to lose. So they don't even want to start discussing or debating this kind of thing at on the floor of the Senate or maybe the House of Reps. Why? Because they don't want to lose the privileges which they enjoy. Otherwise, if your citizen, one citizen is enough. If he's treated with some kind of, look at the case of this Celestine Omin. Yeah, he's a respected guy, a young guy, you know, a cerebral guy. He went legitimately to go and do business. And then he got there, you started disrespecting him. You started showing him and all sort of thing. And in fact, they went to the extent of telling him that they were not convinced that he's a software engineer. You know, trying to debase whatever, you know, just to create the impression that it's not sound.
Is it possible to change the mindsets that going to the US or any other country out of Nigeria for that matter is not a privilege really?
Why is it difficult? Why is it difficult? Let me give you a personal example. I, for instance, I had been to US maybe 4 or 5 times with my passport, visa and everything. So I went in 2004. I went for renewal. And then they denied. They denied me the renewal. One, on the 5 occasions or more that I have traveled, I have never spent more than 2-3 weeks. I will spend my own money. I will do everything. I've never run foul of their laws and everything. And then immediately they denied. I just told myself, what kind of nonsense is this? Since 2004, I've never been to them. For what? Despite the fact that I have some private compelling reasons to even travel to US, I have decided, look, it doesn't worth it. You will go there, and then one small boy will now be showing some kind of disrespect to you and be treating you somehow, and then at the end of the day, he stamps your passport. And then how do you feel? You lose your dignity as a human being, as an individual, as a citizen, as a respected citizen of your own country. You know, being treated like that even on your own soil. So, for that, I just told myself, it's not a matter of life and death. So maybe if it's a matter of life and death, maybe I would have said, okay, let me go. But for 13 years now, I have no reason to go. For what? I'm going to spend my money. You are treating me like this? No way. You know, so it's not compulsory. But because our lawmakers, our politicians have created that impression, that sentiment, that look, if you have not been to America, you are not one of us, you are not this. What kind of, what nonsense?
Let's look at how we've responded.
What is so spectacular about them? It's because they have developed their own country. Why can't you develop your own? And then, look, the Americans don't even want to travel out. I have been there. I have seen that even some of them, you know, no matter how small they are not even interested in going out. They are not interested. For what? To go and see what? But here, every one of us, we want to travel to US to go and do what?
Let's also look at how, you know, as a country, we've taken this over time. Because, we had several cases, not even just in America, where even different embassies, we see South Africa, for instance, these xenophobic attacks. The way we respond to this as a country, our foreign policy, is it enough?
That's what I'm saying. That I believe that this government has not acted. Our government, previous governments, the 3 I can remember had always been during the time of the military. The governments that have actually reacted very seriously and aggressively to most of these diplomatic problems which the advanced countries, the so-called advanced countries, are creating. One, Obasanjo, when he nationalized BP, he did that against the British. Muritala against US during the MPLA crisis, and then Abacha against Commonwealth. But since we became a democratic country, what have we done to show that, look, we can back and we can bite? Ever since we have been backing, we have never beaten anybody. I mean, I can't imagine that South Africa will be treating us like this. So the small suffering, the big suffering, you know, you are suffering at both ends. South Africa, United States. So at what point do you now prove yourself to be a very viral nation, a very vibrant nation, a very aggressive nation? How do you expect the international community to take you as a serious nation? They won't show you any respect. Why? Because you do not even, the government does not even show respect or concern towards its own citizens.
So what should the lawmakers do now?
The only thing they can do is to enhance our values, is to also start by showing the kind, I mean, by leading with examples. They should restrict, I mean, you want to go and study this, you want to go and study that, you go to US, you keep going to US. What do you want to study about democracy over, I memean, in US? Is it only US? Why can't you go to India? Since 1947, India has been an independent, I mean, a democratic nation, and there has never been a coup. Is that not a country you can go? But they will not go. They prefer to go to US. Why? Because of this kind of orientation which they have. And that's why we are like a slave nation. We are like a client patron, I mean, like a client nation, begging them to do all sorts of things for us. And then we have not shown the kind of aggressiveness, the kind of decisive action which we have taken against them. We have not.
So you're saying that the Nigeria can do without the US?
Why not? You can do without any. You can do away with any country. It depends on how resolute you are and your people. The fear they have again is that, will they have the support of the people? Will they have the support of their nationals? Okay, look at India again. I mean, that was a country that decided to ban importation totally. They were not importing anything. They just decided that, look, we are not going to import anything. And then they decided to be on their own. And they started doing all sorts of things on their own. Until maybe later they started liberalizing their trade. You know? But before, I mean, they did, but we can't do that. We can't. Why? Because we are so, everything is imported from US.
So what happens?
And then the ego there is, yeah, I bought this thing from US. I bought this thing in US. Our ego trip. Ego, simple ego.
So what happens with all this policy we say we have about reciprocity?
That's what I'm saying. That you reciprocate if it's a good gesture. That's what you call reciprocity. But you retaliate if it is bad. But have we ever retaliated some of these ugly actions, some of this humiliation which they have meted to us? No. At the official level, these are things we should be doing. Okay, look at what our government is doing. We are not even directing our action towards the United States, either at the diplomatic level or at whatever level. We are even directing our action to Nigerians. You must have good reasons to go out. If you don't have good reasons, don't go out. What kind of nonsense is that? That guy, the Celestian Domin, did he not have a good reason to travel? They are treating you with your citizens with humiliation. You are even advising your citizens. I mean, that's what? Look at the case of 2009. What happened? A private ship, Maersk, was going with his crew. And then the Somali pirates kidnapped them, held them hostage, particularly, I mean, the captain volunteered himself. That's Richard Phillips. He volunteered himself. And then, you know, in less than 48 hours, the Americans took a warship to the place. Our own crew were arrested, were kidnapped too. They spent 9 months. They asked for ransom, $1 million. We did not pay for 9 months. At the end of the day, by the time we were releasing them, we paid the $1 million. Now, these Americans did not even negotiate. They said it's their policy, they don't negotiate with terrorists. They took a warship there. In fact, positioned 3 others strategically where those pirates could see. So they used only one alone, and then they rescued their guy. And then the guy went to US. He was received by the president. Richard Phillips, who volunteered himself, was received by the president, by Obama. He had breakfast with him. But in our own case, when the 9 guys came back, they were even asked to scram before they were rearrested even in Nigeria. Why? Because the natural attitude. What are they doing there? Where did they go and do there? What kind of nonsense? Why should you be issuing advisory to Nigerians who are legitimately going to travel to go and do business?
So for you now, the narrative is that we are hurting ourselves.
Yes. I mean, why should government direct it at me? What have I done? I have visa, I have passport, I have everything. They are humiliating me over there. You are still you are still blasting me. You are still directing your advice to me. Okay, so what happens to them? What are you going to say about those people?
So in specific terms, you're asking that as a country, we should be calling the American government or the embassy to find out, look, what exactly is this about, or what should we be looking out for? If people are not...
Those are the things we should be doing. Those are the things. What is North Korea doing against US? They don't care. North Korea, look at North Korea, it's a small country. Look at what they are doing towards US. What is Iran doing? Look at Iran doing this. Look at even Iraq, that is even war-torn, that is even in crisis, still going to parliament to go and discuss all these things. Look at Nigeria, big, 176 million, rich, everything. What have we done? What have we shown as a nation to be taken serious by the international community?
Let's get
if we continue like this, it will get to a stage that we just become a paper nation. People will not take us serious again.